Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? It's Nacho. I just wanted to talk about a problem with the fitness industry, and it mainly has to do around the obsession over studies. So all these fitness influencers, all these influencers with PhDs, all these doctors, you got Milo Wolf, Mike Israetel, Jared Feather, all these dudes, right? They're all obsessing over studies, and I just don't understand why. If we have, if we already have knowledge about physiological principles, and what I mean by that is people should know that there's two types of hypertrophies. The one we want to grow is your myofibril hypertrophy. That's probably the hardest one to grow. Not probably, but that is the hardest one to grow because it takes muscle damage. Okay, it's very, very simple. What it takes to grow your myofibrils are you have to stimulate damage through mechanical tension, okay? You have to damage your muscles eccentrically. We know that there's the concentric and the eccentric phase, okay? The eccentric phase is what's associated with muscle damage and associated with addition of sarcomeres in series and in parallel, okay? And the concentric is actually associated with the loss of sarcomeres in series. So I was you could learn this anywhere. These are physiological principles. Okay, once you damage these muscle fibers, all you need to do is stay in a positive nitrogen balance. Pretty much eat a bunch of animal protein. That's all it is. Eat a bunch of animal protein so that you can recover, so that you can repair and remodel. These are principles that we already know. Why do we need studies to confirm how to build muscle when all these studies are revolving around sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? That's the main problem with these studies. All these studies are on untrained individuals as well, or low trained individuals. And the training is very frivolous, as in it's all geared towards sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. They don't account for the repeated bout effect or the myonuclear domain size limit. You need to get past these phenomena to grow your myofibrils. And the only way to do that is through eccentric training. Either eccentric overload training, where you do an eccentric exercise but you overwork that muscle eccentrically, or you do supramaximal eccentric overload, a load that's you will do a load that's 100 to 130% of your max, and you do it eccentrically for multiple reps, creating muscle damage. Either or will create muscle damage. Eccentric overload, where you just overwork the muscle eccentrically, will take more sets obviously than supramaximal eccentric overload, because as the intensity is high, the duration is low. As the intensity is low, the duration is high. Okay, just remember that. But I just don't understand how these people with PhDs, right? How do they not differentiate in these studies of sarcoplasmic and myofibril? And how do they not know about the repeated bout effect and the myonuclear domain size limit and how that plays a role in growing your myofibrils? We never get taught this through the industry, through YouTube. There's a bunch, it's like a big circle jerk with these doctors, right? Menno Henselman, whatever his name is, Milo Wolf, all these guys. And all they're doing is regurgitating the same information but in different variations about how to grow your sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. But they don't say that, of course. They say muscle growth, a blanket term. Remember, you have two different types of hypertrophies. So either they're oblivious to it, which I doubt. Well, I don't doubt it, because they're small themselves, obviously. Either they're oblivious to it, or they're just making so much money doing this. They're probably in the mindset of if it's not broke, then don't fix it. Let's just keep making money. Because if they were to say, you know what, guys, training is not that complicated. I'm going to tell you guys how to build some myofibrils, okay? All you have to do is damage your muscle fibers eccentrically, because that's the only phase that builds muscle. And once you damage muscle, you want to stay in a positive nitrogen balance. You do that, you repair, remodel, you rinse and repeat, and you keep but you have to get past the repeated bout effect. It's obvious, right? You repair your model, your muscle come back bigger and stronger and more resilient. It's obvious. You don't need to learn about the repeated bout effect to learn that you need a stronger stimulus than last time to damage your muscles, okay? But if they were to come out and say this, would they keep making money? Probably not. They have to make this shit difficult. Like, so when it comes to high volume, reps in reserve, RPE, periodization, deloading, myo reps, this is all different variations of how to get sarcoplasmic hypertrophy and to maximize your concentric performance. That's all it is. Because if you were to, if they, like I said, if they were to come out and say, look, you just need to damage the muscles eccentrically, either eccentric overload, overwork the muscle eccentrically through eccentric exercises, or super maximal loads eccentrically, multiple reps, and stay in a positive nitrogen balance. Just eat a bunch of animal protein. That would be much more simple. So all these different studies that come out, all it is a paralysis by analysis, man. It's confusing people on what actually builds muscle. And that's the biggest problem with the fitness industry right now. They're obsessing over these studies that revolve around sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. And these studies are so flawed. They're so flawed. I think there's been a few studies about eccentric overload, and it shows that it grows muscle myofibrils 40 to 50% faster. And that was in a short time frame too. That's another problem with these studies. It's a short time frame. 6 weeks. How much muscle can you really build in 6 weeks? Fractional, not even a pound. So that's the issue with the fitness industry right now. You know, it's been on my mind for a minute. It's been like, why do we have to obsess over these studies if we already know physiological principles? We already know what happens when you damage your muscle fibers through eccentric training. You get an influx of satellite cells. You pretty much bring out the satellite cell out of quiescence, out of its sleep. Your satellite cell's basically sleeping, and you have to create a strong enough stimulus for it to wake up so it can differentiate, proliferate, and donate its myonuclei to the muscle fibers to repair and remodel to grow bigger and stronger. So we know these, if we educate ourselves and we know these physiological principles, do we really need the fitness industry to tell us how to build myofibrils? No. And I'm going to keep saying myofibrils because that's the real muscle. That's the contractile tissue. Sarcoplasmic is just fluid inside the muscle through concentric based training. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just start questioning stuff. Just start looking at the fitness industry's training advice through the lens of sarcoplasmic and myofibral hypertrophy. And just keep in mind the repeated bout effect and the myonuclear domain size limit. And you pretty much have everything you need. And concentric and eccentric based lifting. Okay. Just look at the industry through those lenses, and you will be able to train yourself to grow more muscle, myofibral muscle. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Peace.